I was round about 39, I think, and it was back in New Zealand. I went to drama school in the 60s, then I came back to New Zealand and became a teacher. So I was a teacher for about 15 years, special ed and so on. And then, so it was round about the time I stopped teaching and became an actor full-time. I also, shortly after that, went into voiceover work. The most challenging thing in terms of workplace has probably been direction by committee. That sounds a bit weird, I know, but you know, sometimes you'll go in and whoever's directing you or producing the ad has, or the narration has an idea of what they want. Sometimes they don't, and they're hoping that you'll come up with something, and they might have like a star chamber in there of 10 people, and they end up squabbling amongst themselves. And so often when that happens, you find that after umpteen takes with different interpretations according to their requirements, they actually say, actually, can we just hear that second one again? Actually, I think that was pretty much it. I love using my voice. I'm an actor, so I guess I like showing off. I also like the anonymity aspect of voiceover, because you can do so many different characters and styles and things, and you're always faceless. So, you know, it's not like exposure when you're on stage or on camera. And I don't know, it gives you a feeling of freedom. I love it. And just mixing with all those other creative people, it's a great process. I really enjoy it. I would say, well, apparently my strength is that I'm warm but authoritative. I've got a reasonably smooth, warm voice. It's sort of one of those, yes, you would probably buy a used car from this man voices, which means obviously that I have certain weaknesses as well that counterbalance that. But that's one of my natural strength, I think, is that style of voice work. But as an actor, I also love the chance to do characters and silly accents and all that kind of thing, because that's what we do. Well, it was funny, but it wasn't funny. I went to do a voiceover for an exotic chocolate product years ago. And I was actually really, really sick before I went in. And it was one of those things where I thought, should I ring my agent? Should I sort of say I'm not up to it? Because I had this incredibly deep voice, tri-testicular sound, you know. And I went in there, and it was very sort of European, exotic style, the ad. And I did the voiceover. I could hardly get my voice out, but it was way down there, and very John Laws, you know. And they said it was absolutely perfect for that particular, even though it wasn't my natural delivery. The next day I was in hospital. So, go figure. Yes. That's usually because a lot of the people who write scripts, particularly for ads or corporate stuff, they're very focused on the information that they're trying to disseminate, and they tend, some of them, not to actually read it out after they've written it. So they'll often juxtapose a lot of sibilants, even that's hard to say, juxtapose sibilants, or have a lot of repetition of a particular product name and things like that. So you tend to stumble on them when it becomes the spoken voice rather than the written word. A classic example was when I just started voiceover years ago in New Zealand, and I had to do a corporate, and the package, the client's label was Telecom Cellular Network. And I had to say that about 40 times in probably about 4 minutes. And it was just crazy, and it got to the point where I just couldn't get it out. So I had to have a break, and we had to break it up and take, you know, it was really difficult. You also start obsessing about the fact that you can't get it out, you know. My best / most enjoyable, I think one of my most enjoyable experiences with voice work was when I did for quite a few years the Val Morgan advertising for all the cinemas all around the country, and they actually relaunched it at the time I was with it. So I was sort of doing the announcements for each cinema, welcome to the Randwick Ritz or whatever it was. And the good thing about that was that you were in there for an hour or a couple of hours, and it was absolutely full pressure because you had a certain quota of ads to get out in a certain amount of time, and it required versatility as well. because there were different styles of read. So I really enjoyed it. It was a challenge that I relished. More latterly, I've been doing work for Foxtel for UK TV and BBC program promos, and that was nice too. I really enjoyed that. A lot of it was for New Zealand as well as Australia, and so you had to bung on the Kiwi accent a few times. Hey, bro. Yeah. Because I love Cathy Evans' voice management. I actually have known Cathy now professionally, and she's become a friend over just about 20 years. And she took me under her wing in her agency back then, and has stuck with me ever since. I love being part of the agency for so many reasons, and obviously their reputation has preceded them so much, and these days they've got an amazing stable of people, some of the top voiceovers in the country, and so I'm very appreciative of being part of that. Also, it's the friendship thing. Cathy Evans' voice management, everybody there is so accessible. You feel that they're being very proactive in promoting you, make sure you don't slip off the industry radar. I feel I'm in a really good place, and I feel we work together as a partnership, which is great. Some of the reasons I've said already. I feel that some of the agencies are strictly business, and their clients, as we're officially known, I suppose, are just that. It's sort of like an agent-client relationship, and yeah, I just feel that professionally and personally, I'm getting the most support from Cathy Evans' voice management. It works well. It's a good fit. Oh, I've got various ones. My main general voice warmer is because I ride a motorbike to most of my gigs. I bike all over Sydney. It's the best way to travel in this traffic. I end up doing a lot of yelling on the bike. Might even be a bit of road rage in there at times. Not really. I'm not a grumpy old man. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of motorists think there's a wacko out there on a motorbike at times. But yeah, I do have certain little routines, both for theatre and for voiceover. But as well as the voice, a lot of it is flexibility. So I do a lot of jaw and face contorting and stretching and so on, which probably also makes me look like a total madman on the motorbike. But there you go. Warm.